So what is your assessment of Super Bowl 55 3 days later as they're boating in celebration right now in Tampa as we talk?
Yeah, I'm kind of frustrated with Super Bowl 55. All credit and all glory to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I love what they did, and I'm specifically a huge fan of Jason Light. I love Jason Light, the GM, and yet it was a shocking outcome, 31-9. And I'm thinking of some of the more shocking outcomes we've seen, Rich, over the past decade or so. And I think that Seahawks team just destroying the Peyton Manning Broncos, it was just a clean butt whooping. Certainly the 18-0 Patriots losing. They were, we had Sean O'Hara on the show this morning as part of that Giants team that did it. They showed up. They were better. They were tougher. They were meaner. I'm several days away from this game with the Chiefs. I just feel like that wasn't the Chiefs. We didn't see them. And the postcard of that game, honestly, my takeaway in the frozen moment of that game, if I could put it in one image, would be Mahomes sprinting backwards 30 yards, running around like a rodeo clown, trying to just pull magic out of his backside. It was ridiculous. I feel like it was as if he didn't have a chance. And so I would never put a yeah but permanently on it or an asterisk or anything like that, but I just feel like we didn't get the best Chiefs, and it was the O-line injuries and all that stuff, and there were several other factors, but I feel like we did not get the Chiefs' best punch that day. I wish we would have, and it's kind of frustrating me. I was happy for a couple days for the Bucs, and now I'm like, damn, the Chiefs really let us down, and I feel like we just didn't get the best Chiefs.
Well, I mean, and one of the factors that might have played into it is obviously what happened with Andy Reid's son and Britt Reid, and him now being on an administrative leave, and there being a baby, like literally, a little human that's on life support right now. And how can a human being actually focus on a task at hand when all that is going on? And that's why I kind of regretted the take that I did actually say yesterday, and I'll repeat again with this now as the caveat as well. A Philadelphia Eagles Andy Reid team showed up at Super Bowl 55, where the quarterback that has been dynamite all year long has problems either with protection and balls get dropped and clock management rears its ugly head at the end of the first half, and just mistakes get made. And it's just when you hope that the best can be put on the field, it doesn't happen. And that's what happened quite a bit for Andy Reid in Philadelphia, and his tenure in Kansas City has erased all that, and rightfully so. But that, again, injuries, whatever, could have, the officials, I thought, came out tight too. It all did lead to a Chiefs team that we have not seen look that way since Mahomes ascended to the starter's role. That is true. That happened.
It's true. And Rich, listen, I'm glad you brought up the Britt Reid thing. There's no taboo on that. I think there are people who are loath to mention it, or maybe don't really grasp the effect that could have on a locker room or a team. Very tight-knit team. This is not just that it was Andy Reid's son involved. It's one of their coaches. It's part of the deal, and it's really disturbing. And I'm not convinced that storyline is going away. And I'm worried that it's not going away, and I'm hoping for the sake of everybody and praying for the child, but I do think it could play a role completely. And listen, I'm glad you brought up the Andy Reid thing too, because we're quick to forget and we're eager to forget that this is 20 years of Andy, you can't count him on the big one, and that was his rep. And then you get Mahomes and it all goes away. But as we now peel everything back in the offseason, it's like, wow, if they had not completed WASP against the 49ers, we're still looking at losing the big one every single time. And credit, they made the play, but there's a lot to unpack here. And as we do that over the next 6 months, the thing I have no time for is the right-on schedule, predictable blueprint conversation about the Kansas City Chiefs. They figured it out. They did it. Now that we can beat – I don't think so. I think there was a huge set of circumstances that went into the Chiefs losing that game, all of which had to do with the Bucs and injuries and home field and officiating. So I don't have any time in this offseason, and we have time for anything in the offseason. I don't have time for the Chiefs are now exposed and this thing's over.
I agree with you. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.